The purpose of this video is to show you how to enter your Fontes and Pinnell assessment scores directly into edoctrina. Option 1 is you can use answer sheets that were given to you if you need those to fill in the correct bubbles that go with each of the levels based on the final results of the student's assessment. Or you may pull up edoctrina as you're assessing students and directly fill this information in right after the assessment is complete or as it's completed, whatever you may choose. So again, you can either choose to do this through a bubble sheet or you can choose to do it directly in edoctrina in the steps I am about to show you right now. So from your main homepage, I am signed in as a teacher right now. She has no real student data in here, so it's just more for example purposes because I wanted you to see the screen that you would see as a teacher. So from your quick links screen or quick links icon here, click on teacher dashboard and it will take you to this screen right here. Depending on what you see here, you may have to hide more filters or show more filters. If you go to hide more filters, you don't want it to look like this. So you definitely want it on show more filters. So you have all these different options here from you. So basically, I'm going to clear all these just so we don't have any confusion and I can start fresh. When you come into this, everything will be cleared with nothing for you to have clicked on. So you'll have to start selecting. All the things that have red asterisks are required. So you're going to start by making sure that you have the correct year. For your course, you're going to drop down. Now this particular teacher's, all of the courses that are linked to this teacher in eSchool are here. For our purposes, I'm going to select the ELA 4. It should move it to this side, which means that it is selected. So now when you look at this course, you can see the course that I have selected. This is a required selection. So from the class, you collect ELA, whatever's there for you. You will only be able to see what you have access to. Okay, the next thing you need to is all students. You may select keep it on all students if you are looking to enter information for every single student at once. Let's say you only want to enter information for one student, then you could just click on that individual student. But for this purposes right now, I'm acting as if we want to do all the students. So I'm going to keep this as all students unless I want an individual kid to, say a kid was absent and I want to enter their information after the fact. I would come here and select that absent student and that would be the only one I would see. From here, under select students or select assessments, excuse me, under the test bank, you use the drop down arrow and click on Cheektowaga Sloan UFSD. That's selected. You don't have to fill in any of these other things except for this assessment right here. Be careful if you fill in any of these other assessments that are not on the default, it might make it a little bit challenging for you to see exactly what I'm seeing. So if you are really uncertain, when you come into the screen, you could hit reset filters. It'll wipe everything clean and then you can follow the steps I'm giving you right now. So for now, check the year, you changed the course, you selected your class, keep it at all students if you're doing the entire group of kids in your class, or select individual students if you're looking to enter data on one student at a time. Over here for test bank, Cheektowaga Sloan Union Free School District, everything should be defaulted. Go here to assessment. And this is where you can use the tags that we have related to the Fontes and Pinnell assessment for, like, let's say this was for fall. So I'm going to put an FP and search, and it comes right up. Fontes and Pinnell benchmark fall 2017. This is where we are entering all of the fall 2017 scores for our students. Okay, from this screen right here, after all your filters are selected appropriately, again, if you're having any trouble, please double check that the rest of the filters are left at the default. You can start all over by hitting reset filters if you're unsure of that. The next thing, again, the goal is to enter all of the student data into edoctrina. So you're going to click here on enter student responses and click on that selection. There are a couple different view options here that you can, again, you should see all of your students over here on the side. You should see these options across the top. What I think would be easier for you is if you click on the word rubric. This should line up very nicely with the assessment information that you have completed on the student. So I'm going to take this Travis student here, and I'm going to pretend I completed his Fontes and Pinnell benchmark assessment, and he was in fall 2017. He was an M. So as soon as I hit this, it changes to this tannish color. That means that's selected for that student. Notice here, both are selected. So let's say I did fiction with him or nonfiction, whatever it is. Let's say it was a fiction text that he read. I put it there. His reading level for this was instructional. His percentage was 94%. This is all information. The categories are right here that tied to the reading, the actual reading assessment itself. Reading levels, passage type, reading level here, reading accuracy. Then this is your self-correct. So you figured out your ratio. You select whatever the ratio is. What did they get on the fluency score? Let's say they got a 2 on that. Words per minute is not an option for you to select at this time. Reading comprehension within the text. So it's just that first part. Let's give him 1 point. This is reading comprehension beyond the text. Let's say he got 2 there. Reading about the text. Let's say he got 2 there. Reading comprehension with writing about the text. If you didn't score that, if you didn't use that, just leave it blank. And comments or notes, there's nothing else that you need to do at this point. So right now your student has information regarding this kid has all been filled in. So the next thing I would do is click on my next student. It automatically was saving that as I was doing it. I would click on the next student, make sure I have rubric selected. I would go through and do the same exact thing, whatever those levels might be. Okay, so let's see, reading comprehension behind, about, if I, doesn't look like there's a way to unselect it if you accidentally select something. So be careful when you do that you, I guess you would have to maybe change it to 0, but I accidentally clicked this writing about the text and I can't seem to undo it. So I don't know if you give that part, but we're going to set that at 0 for now. So long and short of it is, these are the full scores generated for these particular students at this time. It should automatically save, so you can close that when you're done. Now, let's say that I wanted to generate some reports on this particular student here, or the students in this classroom. So down here are the options for you to generate reports in different formats. So if I wanted to see individually how my kids did with every kid separated by each kid, I click on individual students. When this screen comes up here, you need to change the format option to standard with rubric text instead of standards. And over here, click on show excluded questions for this assessment. So click on those 2 things and hit OK. Now, we don't have, complete or real data in here, so you're not going to see the accuracy of this. But the bottom line is you have the one that we did enter the fake data for was for the first boy. You can see everything here related to this child, his total score, the percentage, his overall grade level, and then each of your kids are individually separated. These colors are by yellow, red, and green, based on the independent reading levels as stated in the Lucy Calkins document that I gave you over the summer that has the benchmarks throughout the year and where the kids should be. Again, that's an independent reading level. So they're color coded based on that sheet that I gave you at the beginning of the school year to let you know what's considered below, on, or above in September or October or November. It's a monthly chart that I gave you. So long and short of it is, if you're looking for an individual report on the kids, you can export this to a PDF. You can export individual students. If you're looking to, click on just this kid's report and share it with his parents, you can get a report that looks something like this by clicking on that. Or you can click export all to PDFs, and every single one of your kids will show up with all their information. You can print out a class summary. Now, going back to this teacher dashboard here, let's pretend for a moment that you would like to do your entire class to see how the kids did. So you can click on class summary, click the format you want it in. Last name first is probably a good suggestion, and run report. And you can see the individual students are listed here with all of the important part right here is the actual letter. It doesn't include all of the individual components regarding It doesn't include all of the individual sections, the comprehension in that. It only has the overall bottom line, the grade level that the kid has. So right now you can sort this in multiple ways. If I click this way, it's going to go in alphabetical order from, A to Z. If I click on this one, it can go Z to A, and it'll sort those students in multiple ways. But here's an info you can see quickly where your kids are at. I just encourage you to play with these reports. You can click on any one of these reports without breaking anything and just play with it to see, maybe class comparison. I don't know that one, but anyways, click on any report that you want to play around with. I imagine you're going to be using the individual and class summary. You could do an item analysis. I don't know how to do that. Include excluded questions. I imagine you'd have to hit that. Let's see what happens. And then it goes through every single question and breaks it down. Now, there's some behind the scenes things, the way it's set up in edoctrina. So the question 1 is out of 26. It may be a little bit confusing for you to look at this report, but it does have a class summary of where your kids performed at each of those particular things. Bottom line is individual or class summary are the two places you'll probably live in to get either a student summary or individual report on each of your students. And I just strongly encourage you to come in here and play at any time to check around different reports and see what they can do for you and see if it meets your needs. Okay, the process I just showed you was how to enter directly student data information right into edoctrina as you are testing the students, and then how to print reports for individuals or class summaries based on those results. The second option, let's say you're not comfortable doing that, or that's not how you want to enter the student scores. The second option would be for you to print off answer sheets. They're actually bubble sheets. Use a number 2 pencil, color in the dots for all the information per child, and then use the copy machine to scan those in and get them linked to edoctrina. So step 1 of that process is printing off the answer sheets and having them ready for you to fill in the bubbles while you're assessing your students. So to be able to do that, you need, again, under quick links, teacher dashboard, come back to this screen. You probably want it on, you want to have it on show more filters, so everything is shown here. Again, select your course for this particular teacher. It's ELA. Her class is ELA 4-1. Cheektowaga Sloan. F&P, make sure you got the fall or whatever time of the year you're looking for. Okay, and then at this point you would go to print answer sheets. Okay, from this screen right here, you need to select all sheet types. So click that first and it changes to look like this. Grab this bar, drag it over, and select the very last one called F&P benchmarks, the one that looks like this. This is the one you want. Okay, you can now click here to print answer sheets. Now, this is a warning thing because I've entered fake data for Travis and Trenton here. And it's saying, well, if I print off an answer sheet and fill in the bubbles, whatever I fill on the bubbles will be overwritten. This basically will not save the current information I have for these 2 kids there. But for this purposes of demonstration, nothing should come up if you don't have any data on your kid. I'm just going to hit continue because it's just for purposes. This test for this particular one, just hit yes. And then bottom line is you will get an answer sheet per child. So there's Travis's answer sheet, and here's all the little circles for you to fill in. So you can circle if he was an O, he was a fiction text, he was instructional at that level. Here's his accuracy, color in his self-correction, his fluency, his words per minute. Let's say it was 18 words per minute, 018, and comprehension within, beyond, and about. And then for writing, just hit NA if it's not applicable and you didn't do it. If you want to, you can put notes down here if this is the sheet you want to use for replacing the current Excel sheet we're using. So let's say you want to put notes on here about the child's focus for instruction. You can jot notes on this while you're assessing the student or after you analyze your results. So ultimately, you can save these sheets. They're going to also be run through the copy machine, which I'll provide you directions on. Run through the copy machine so edoctrina will scan them and sort the data in. That more information will follow on that later. But you can also save these sheets and use them as your guiding template as you work through the kids. So, and I think that's everything. This is, again, how to providing you with 2 options to enter Fontes and Pinnell scores, either by printing your own answer sheets and filling in the bubbles, or following the first part of this video, which is entering the information directly as you go. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.